Welcome back, my friend. Today we are going to do an expressive collage portrait. So let's get started and let's have some fun. Portrait I did back in 2022, I believe. It's typical of my style. I use cut paper. You see this grainy look in the skin. That's just me diluting some brown paint and using a big brush to get those streak lines in there. I use textiles, and there's also some magazine clippings from magazines, some words from headlines that I threw in the background in the hair, and of course some stenciling. So I'm going to show you how I go about the process in putting it all together. Very easy to do. Once you guys get it, you're going to be up and running doing these things, and believe me, they are fun. Before we get started, let's just get our materials in order. First thing you're going to need is some matte gel medium. You can get this at any big box art supply store. Make sure you get gel medium. It's the glue that's going to make everything stick together. I always use these cheap dollar store brushes. Go to the hardware store, get yourself some nylon brushes. These are great. They're very durable. The background that we're going to use is just a watercolor design that I did making from tissue paper, right? So this is going to be our background, and I actually found the paper that I used for the portrait that I just showed you, right? So, or you can make your own. You can definitely make your own. So we're going to use a variety of materials. Of course, we're going to use some textiles. I'll show you how that works. And let's get started. Let's jump right into it. Okay, folks, this is what we're going to do. I prepared a sketch offline, and we're going to break this down in 3 parts: body, hair, and clothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some tracing paper, and we're just going to break this sketch down into 3 simple parts. And I'm going to start with the body. So I'm going to go back over my outline and just lightly, well, can't say lightly, but I'm just going to trace over the outer part of the body, or the outer line. And remember, you're just concerned with the main shapes. Now notice that with the head, I'm not following the hairline. I'm just going with the head because the hair is going to sit on top. So we have our body. Now we're going to do the hair. And remember, you're just following that outer line. Not worried about details. You just want to get the main shape. Now remember, with the hair, it does follow along with this headline. So you're going to have to get as close as possible. Oh, didn't mean to go that far. So you're going to get some overlap, but that's okay. All right. We have the hair. And the last thing is this bra area. And we'll bring it down just a little bit further than the paper line. Now you may find that your shapes may not fit perfectly according to what you drew, but that's okay. You can always adjust it later. Bring it down a little bit. All right. Okay. So now we have three main elements. We have the head and body. We have the hair, which seems to fit nicely. Might be a little bit off. And we have the bra. So now that we have our design elements together, we're going to, well, first let me show you what we're going to use. We're going to use this material for the bra. Of course, we have our skin tone, our head and body, and we're going to use this for the hair. It's a nice pattern paper. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to show you how we're going to put it all together, and let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our paper for the skin tone and our tracing for the head and body, and I'm just going to take some spray mount and lightly spray the back, very lightly spray the back of our tracing and place it on our page. All right. Normally I will cut this out with a X-Acto knife, but I'm just going to use some scissors for now. Right, so we have the head and torso done. Now we're going to do the hair. Just want to kind of line things up to make sure it's going to fit. The hair is going to be a little tricky because you got to make sure everything lines up right, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're going to do the same thing we did with the head and torso. Let's move this out the way. This time I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to cut out the shape because I want to be more precise with my cut. The only thing is I can't find my cutting mat, so should be using a cutting mat, but I think this board will do. So let me find my spray mount, give it a few spritz very lightly. That's going to be very nice. We'll start by cutting out around the edges. All right. So with an X-Acto knife, you get a more precise cut. I want to go as close to the edge as possible. And be careful because if you cut your finger with one of these things, it could be very nasty. It's a very sharp tool, so you have to be careful. So always try to cut away from your hands. You don't want your finger down here by the knife. Pull it towards you. Okay, now that the hair is done, let's see how it lines up with our head and torso. Save these scraps because you never know how you can use them with a collage or something. Let's peel the tracing paper off our hair. And let's see how it looks. All right, not bad. It fits pretty nicely. Now, we're not going to leave the hair like this. We're going to put some more contrast in the hair. Probably spray some black spray paint over it. To me, it's looking a little too, I don't know, it doesn't have the punch that I thought it would have. But I think we can fix that with some black spray paint. But yeah, I think it fits pretty nicely. Otherwise, I'm going to do the same step with the bra area. So let's get that prepared. We have our material that we're going to use, and you're basically going to take your tracing. I suggest cut off any extra edges that you have. Get as close as possible to the drawing as possible with your out. You're going to do the same step. Lightly spray the back, very lightly. Just you need a little bit more because you're dealing with material rather than paper. And just carefully place your drawing on top of the material where you want to cut. All right. Now we're going to cut off the edge. I absolutely love using textiles because the patterns are always beautiful and endless. So just cut right up to your edge. And you have to make sure that your scissors are pretty sharp, because material does not the same way as paper does. Try to avoid any frazzled edges. You want a nice clean cut. So you want to be as precise as possible. Take your time and don't rush it. Okay, let's get that out the way. Bring our drawing back. Let's see what this looks like. Whoa. Okay, so that fits nicely. All right, so we have our three major shapes, and the next step is to take the gel medium to start gluing things down. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to get that started. Are back from our break, and what I'm going to do now is we're going to do something about this hair. So let's move this out the way, and let's go find some spray paint. Maybe some black spray paint, and let's get some paper. And what I want to do is I want to put some more contrast in this design. So I'm going to take, we're going to take our spray paint and just lightly spray the hair or the hair piece. Now we don't want to cover it too much. We want to let some of that design show through, but just enough to give it some more contrast. And I think that's good enough. Let's see what it looks like on our page. Yeah, that looks much better. Much better. Okay, so we're going to go with that. And let's put some things to the side and let's start gluing down our shapes, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the head and torso. We're going to take our gel medium. We're going to just generously apply it on the back. And we're not too worried about getting this on our background because, like I said before in previous videos, this stuff is paintable and it dries clear. So we just want to make sure that we get a good covering. Right? Let's take a brayer and let's just roll it down onto our page. Right? Okay, so that was easy, right? It's looking good. We want to make sure that it's nice and sticking to the page nice. All right. Now, let's do this part right here. All right. Now, this material is a little bit more flimsy, so I'm not going to roll it on the back of this. I'm just going to apply a coat right on top of the body area. All right. Got a little bit of fraying on the edges here. Wasn't such a clean cut, but that's okay. Okay. That part is done. Make sure you press this down firmly. All right. That looks pretty good. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the hair. So, and again, I don't mind if I get it onto my background because, like I said, this stuff dries clearly. But we do want to make sure that everything lines up nicely. It does. Let's roll it with a brayer. Okay, now that looks pretty good. The next step we're going to do with this, the next step we're going to do with this is we're just going to let it dry. Um, we'll trim off these edges. We'll let everything dry up, and we'll do some creative markings, probably do some stenciling with the background. And of course, we'll put some detail, some eyes and so forth, nose, lips, and some details like we had in the sketch with the body and, you know, eyes and stuff like that. So let's let this dry. Let's let this sit for a little bit. We're going to come back to it and put some finishing touches to it. We are almost there. It's looking good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the details in the face, eyes, lips, and all that good stuff. And we'll put some embellishments in the background to finish this off. But I'm really liking how this is coming out, and I really had fun doing it. So let's get started and let's see where this takes us. All right, so I believe we are done. It's looking pretty good. Let me show you what it looks like. Right? So I had fun doing this. I hope you had fun watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I love you all. I hope you got something out of this. And I will talk and see you guys again soon. Peace out. Yahweh bless.